All right. There's our Baba file.
Baby!
Yeah.
You get your big, beefy armadillo with you.
Hell yeah. He's Rand, what's weird about him is he's like one of the best healers in the game.
I love that trope of like big, beefy healers.
Yeah. Now, granted, he's also a pretty decent physical fighter. Like, he can soak a lot of damage and he can deal a decent amount.
Well, it's that kind of old trope started by D&D of like the cleric has the mace.
Yeah, that's
Even
pretty
though
much
historically clerics didn't really use maces. They were swords like everybody else.
Yep. Oh, and I did a little grinding off screen, but I do that a lot.
Yeah, for RPGs, grinding off screen is fine.
Mm-hmm. At some point, I stop making the abrupt stop, and I actually sort of faded out, but like these were the first things that I recorded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you've been recording these for a while.
Yeah.
you've been chomping at the bit to do this.
Pretty much. Oh, I guess I didn't enjoy it. Oh, you don't like that a girl gets killed? Would you prefer that a boy, such as Baba, be killed?
Yeah.
He's such an asshole.
I like to murder people.
Yep. Uh-oh. Screen gets darker. Came from the goodness of my heart. Oh. Turned into a monster. Uh-oh.
You are the demons, John.
Yeah. And then he starts speaking in first-person plural.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, becomes the strength of our god.
Right,
What
bro.
is this? Who's this god?
Oh, do you have a god of assholes?
Yeah, probably. So there's that theme again of giving your strength to God.
Is that a two-headed werewolf?
Yes, it is.
And why does this sprite make it look like it has huge tracts of land?
Because they screwed up the pectorals, I imagine.
Yeah. It's like, that dude has a pretty impressive chest.
Yeah,
Like that
I
cleavage.
just noticed that there's a goat demon picture on the right side above the bed.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a goat in, like, fancy noble dress.
Yeah, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I
fair-
think this is the only time they ever use this background for the battle.
Huh.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
sometimes they actually make unique backgrounds.
That's actually a lot of work back then.
Yes, it is. Sprite animation and sprite drawings are ridiculously difficult.
It means they put money into, like, unique battle arenas. That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
not like
this game was made with love. Like, you can pretty much tell. It's just that it's jank.
I think that's the difference between, like, good jank and bad jank is that love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's either you earnestly tried, you just didn't have the skill for it, or you're working in a medium that no one has really mastered yet.
Yeah. You can see why this guy's really hard, though.
Yeah.
Look at how much damage he just did. Now,
Jeez.
granted, he wastes a turn saving strength,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's ridiculously hard. Like, another reason I didn't bother to get Kat for this fight is because he often targets her, and at this level, she has like no defense and no hit points, and so she'll die in one turn.
Yeah.
There's like no point in having her anyway, other than to soak up damage for one turn.
Yeah, because it looks like he's wasting one turn charging up, but at the same time, you're wasting one turn healing and guarding and prepping for it.
Yeah, pretty much. And he gets 2 attacks, so he charges and then attacks, or he attacks and attacks, or he attacks and then charges, and then the next attack will do a lot more.
Yeah. But I'm
that
noticing
one, yeah.
the second attack doesn't seem to do as much as the first.
Yeah, you can only charge once, so it'll only do the 40 to 45 damage once. But yeah, he's so hard for this point in the game.
Well, a lot of RPGs have that boss, where it's, on a whole, they're not too bad, but that point in the game, it's either their stats are high for that point, or
Yeah.
it's like there's a certain concept that this is your task to make sure you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going back to Nocturne is a boss where if you don't know the importance of debuffing, this is one of the hardest fucking fights in the game.
Yeah.
The Fiend Matador. He just keeps fucking Olay and raising his evasion. Just,
Oh, God.
like, once a turn, his evasion will fucking go up, and if you don't have anybody that debuffs,
yeah,
like, good fucking luck beating this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking absurd. God, everybody hates the Matador.
Yep.
I have a figure of him, because
yeah,
he's such an asshole.
Yeah. So nobody even notices that you just killed the dude. They just said there are no competitions scheduled for today.
Well,
I'm just talking to myself, but maybe August is going too far. So you went in and assassinated the guy, and then you just get to leave.
Well, he was a monster, and by monster rules, he just kind of fucking vanished after you killed him.
That's true.
So there wasn't really a body.
It's just terrible. Your friend, Kat, please, just come with me. Your friend. You kicked her ass. You, Baba, how dare you!
You Diglett.
Now here's that Ray guy from earlier. How dare you kill me with an underhanded trick like a poison needle?
You dirty rat.
Stop it, no violence.
I'll get you, you Diglett. Oh, you brought an armadillo with you, did you? I'll get that too.
Yeah, he brought her back by using a magic spell of the Saint Eva Church.
Oh, look at that.
This is like Biruburu, there it is again. Calm down and please explain what happened. Baba used a poison needle to kill me. Wait a minute. No.
How was old Angus Steaks doing? We ate him. He was delicious. To a god or demon or something. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, well, Ray wasn't even there. What a terrible thing. Oh, God. Let's stop this evil man with the strength of Saint Eva. He's
Onwards.
A very devout man.
Onwards to victory!
Yeah. Okay, so the best line in the game is coming up soon.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ow.
That's not true. You sure are stubborn.
And this is the thanks you get? What a bitch.
What will you do now? I'm thinking of going to look
work
for
as a
work as a
handyman.
handyman. Fixing the roof of the hiding place. That sounds good. I'm going to help with that.
Hey, don't ignore me.
Let me help too.
Meow. Meow, I say.
Alright, here it comes. Do you know anything about repairing a house? Repairs, right? That's a piece of cake. It's kind of like this, right? What does swinging around a stick have to do with repairs? There you go, best line in the game. Are you saying it's wrong? Absolutely wrong. But I suppose you're going to insist on coming with me.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that's actually one point where I think that terrible translation works really well. They put all those periods in there, that really long ellipses, more than the 3 dots that it should be, and they don't put a period after yeah, which makes it sound like it's just yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
Like it gives it so much more personality than if she'd put a period at the end.
Yeah. Like this was, that's the kind of thing that's like the hardest thing about writing to really nail into people, and it took me forever to figure out.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you can break the rules when it comes to, writing anything. But
you have to have a purpose.
You have to understand why you're breaking it. And
I don't think these guys did, just because of how bad the translation is, but they nailed it on that one.
Yeah. Like, you can accidentally do something brilliant. I mean, look at Shalamalama's career. Like, he accidentally into 2 or 3 good movies, and then just coasted that over, 12?
Yeah, something like that. And is still making them.
Yep.
So, yeah. And actually, that happens several times throughout this game, where their shitty grammar and punctuation makes it better than it otherwise would have been.
Sometimes you can get lucky.
Yeah. So I took... As a kid, I did not know what the ST stood for. Like, I thought it stood for stick because that's what Rand said. What does swinging a stick around have to do with repairs? It took me forever to realize, oh, it's actually staff.
Yes.
And there's another one in here. It's what the magic users use, and it's an RG. What do you think an RG is?
The first thing that comes to my mind is archer, as in archery, like a bow.
Okay, RG? Like...
Oh, RG.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Archie.
No, like Rand and Gold.
RG.
So, let's see if this helps.
Ring?
Oh shit, you got it!
Oh.
First try, even. Yes, it is a ring. We did not know this until we played the Game Boy Advance version, and they had a picture next to the weapon, and it was a little ring.
Okay.
But like, we had no clue what it was because one of the characters, she shoots a kind of mini Kamehameha out of her fist, or out of her outstretched hand. Yeah, here's Rand's thing, his overworld thing.
Oh,
which is
okay.
Amazing, I love it. And the other character who uses it uses a staff, like a rod or whatever.
Okay.
And so we had no idea, we meaning my brother and I, had no idea what RG stood for because it didn't correspond to either of the characters' attacks. And so finally when the Game Boy Advance version came out and we played that and saw the little ring next to it, we're like, oh, okay.
It's like a holy icon kind of dealie.
Yeah, oh, and now we get to see Kat's overworld thing.
Ew.
Which actually you've seen the animation of it, but now you can see the application.
Okay.
Oh, see those rocks?
Yeah.
You can do this to them too.
Okay.
And they break, but there's really no reason to. Man, I am sucking at hunting in the actual on-screen playthrough here.
So she also
I got a lot of roasts. That's how I got a lot of money, but kind of failed. Oh well.
Oh well.
But yeah, we're going to the hiding place to do some repairs.
Repairman, man.
I kind of hope Kat doesn't actually stay there. That would be bad, because she might wreck the place more than she fixes it.
Oh no.
Maybe she could hammer some nails with that staff of hers.
Well, she can go full hammer time on it.
Yeah.
That was a fun attack animation.
Yes, it is. One cool thing about the Breath of Fire series is that, like, all of the games have, well, maybe not so much the first, but, like, almost all the games have really good animations. Like, very fluid, very dynamic, interesting animations. I don't think I would say they're the best of anything, but, like, especially Breath of Fire 4, just ridiculously beautiful animations for their attacks and whatever else.
Okay.
Just like, look at how fluid Ryu's swing is. And that one, like, Rand's little swing hit. Like, it's just, you can tell, you can feel the way that it hits. Even though you're technically not even making contact with the enemy.
Yeah. Like, there's something about the swiftness of his upward thrust.
Yeah.
And how it comes out, like, it's a much more bigger, much more dramatic motion than the 1-2.
Exactly. Like, the 1-2 is just him kind of warming up, and then the other one is his real attack.
Yeah, because with the 1-2, he, like, puts a little bit of his shoulders into it, but with the up, it's a full uppercut. He has his waist moving with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of feeling of motion and power.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always really impressive to do when you're doing limited sprite animations.
Yep.
You don't have
Poe
as much
said, Kat doesn't look too bright. I have a feeling if she tries to fix something, she'll break it instead.
What are you whispering? What are you guys whispering about? What are you guys talking about?
That's what she said. Talking about repairs on this house. Repairs? That's easy. And then they get nervous.
Anya! Goo!
Rand and I can handle the repairs. Kat, would you go with Bug to find the female thief? Okay, I could do that. Well then, let's go, Bug. She's just so silly.
We'll be going now, bye!
Yup. So she starts out really stupid and very vapid and just basically kind of cute and mean and redheaded and all that stuff. But she actually gets pretty decent character development. Like, all of the characters in this, except for maybe Jean, get pretty good character development later on.
That's good, especially after all the trash talking about character development you did for BOF1.
There is no character development in BOF1. They pretty much remain static the entire game. It's too bad. I don't know. If we get enough requests, maybe I'll play it, but like it's just not a good game. It's boring. Like we're gonna have to find a lot of things. Might even have to bring in things to talk about if we start doing BOF1, because it's a slog.
We'll start BOF1 and then we'll start show and tell.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll put it on in the background and then just talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, just like
Maybe
we do every game we play.
Yeah, except that sometimes we talk about the games themselves, like we were just talking about the animation here.
Yeah.
Oh, the animation in BOF1, the main character, I think has 2 frames of animation in his attack. He has standing, and he has going forward on the enemy and holding his sword in the opposite direction. They just kind of slide him along real quick.
I must go, my planet needs me.
Yes, exactly. And then once he's done with his attack animation, he just kind of teleports back to where he was.
Yeah? That's some good animating right there.
Sure am is.
That be having some pretty animated picture movements.
Yep.
Oh.
First Breath of Fire was interesting, though, just from a background standpoint, because it was developed by Capcom, but it was released by Squaresoft in the United States. And so Squaresoft had its localization team, which is way better than Capcom's localization team. They had them do the translation and all that stuff. And so I think it kind of encountered a bit more censorship as a result, but it also it had better dialogue and everything like that.
Right.
It just doesn't have the charm.
Yeah. And for a lot of things, that's the important thing, to have that soul.
Exactly, yeah. And I just don't feel that from BOF1. And I've played it multiple times. Like, I used to just play every game that I had many, many times just because I thought they were all relatively equally good. That was prior to my ability to discern things. But now I know that it's just not that great.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
And we discussed this in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Just like, when you're a kid, you'll like some pretty terrible things. Like, look at a lot of stuff for kids these days. A lot of people go like, it wasn't as good as what was in my childhood. It's like, really? Have you gone back to anything in your childhood? Because a lot of it's trash.
Yeah. Like, I don't feel that a lot of things these days have as much soul as some of the older stuff, at least as far as video games are concerned. And that's because they're so manufactured now, and they were made by smaller development teams back in the day. But objectively, a lot of what people get now is better.
Well, that also depends on where you're drawing the line. Like, is it just the AAA, or are you also lumping indie into it?
Yeah, and do kids play indie that much is the question.
Yeah, because if you're talking also indie, oh hey Nina, you also have like Undertale, you have Shovel Knight, you have Thomas Was Alone,
and some of those are better than anything that was ever released in the past.
Yeah, Stanley Parable, and some things are dependent on what's in the past. Like, I don't think you would get the same enjoyment out of Undertale without,
oh god, no,
like a general understanding of video games in general, specifically old RPGs. Like, there's still a lot of heart in Undertale, and even without that, you'll still get something good, and it's a worthwhile experience.
Your experience is going to be different depending on your experience with previous games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like on top of that, you also get like Lisa, which has a soul, just a dark, vile, and robber one.
Yeah.
And like with the indie market, you can get stuff that's willing to take that risk and go to places that old games just didn't.
That's
like,
true.
You would have bloody stuff in older games like Doom and Mortal Kombat and like Blood and other games like that, and Postal, but not really addressing the mature themes.
Yeah.
Like, the only older thing I can think of off the top of my head that addresses the more mature themes is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Right, yeah.
Which, like...
But yeah, there wasn't much of that back in the day.
Yeah, well, some point-and-clicks got there, but there wasn't much outside of that genre.
Yeah, I guess you had things like Myst and whatnot.
Yeah, you had Myst, which had kind of the more mature...
Another great line.
It's Hanako!
Or Hanako, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, there's like no reason for that, and that's what she says all game, and you never figure out who Hanako is.
Is that like a Japanese folklore thing that just...
I thought so, but I looked it up and I could find nothing on it.
I will Google. Oh,
you
talk
go
to
ahead
these
and do that.
people.
And there's another thing later, like at the very end of the game, Nikanoru. Could never figure that one out either.
Hanako is a Japanese urban legend about a spirit of a young girl who haunts bathrooms.
Oh, okay. Well, that works then. I guess my Google foo sucked.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. She found a spirit that haunted a bathroom.
Well, it's like you come into the bathroom, and the joke is she's confusing you with this spirit that will come in and murder you if you come into the bathroom.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So it's one of those, like if somebody made a joke about finding money under their pillow after losing a tooth.
Right.
Like,
you wouldn't get that if you were in Japan.
Yeah. Like, if you don't have the tooth fairy, like, legend or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you're not going to get that. Or throwing salt over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not from the right place, you're not going to get that.
Yep.
But it's one of those things where it's like everyone in your audience is, like, your general audience is going to understand. It's once it gets translated, then it's up to the translators to figure that shit out.
Right, yeah. And so they just didn't bother.
Nope. So, fuck it.
Yeah, screw localization. So Kat wanted to learn magic, but the guy said, well, you don't have time because these hoodlums are trying to come back and get Nina. And then they said, we have your little sister, Mina.
Yeah, go.
So remember Mina from the beginning of the game? She
with the piggy pig.
Again. Yep. Although I don't think Susie ever shows up again.
Oh, well,
which is
poor
unfortunate. Susie. Yep. Probably got eaten by the harpies.
Well, Susie got caught by the herpes.
Yep.
And now you need to go bonk them hoodlums on the head, and then you pick up
I'm
Nina.
going to punch their lights out with my staff. Yep. So yeah.
Go bonk them.
Another thing the original Breath of Fire does that this one doesn't, and I love this one so much more for not doing it. The original Breath of Fire just sets you off with no direction in many, many instances. And this one, there's always some sort of hint as to where to go next, even if it's not entirely blatant.
Yeah.
And so some random NPC was like, a female thief with wings? I wonder if it's that girl from M School. She doesn't look like a thief, though. And so that gives you the hint to go to the magic school and find Nina.
Okay. Yeah, like, that's always a gamble in my mind. Because on the one hand, that can really give you a sense of exploration if you aren't like, say, go do this. On the other hand, you could have the go kneel in this corner and wait for the tornado to show up scenarios.
Yeah, this game does not do that.
Okay.
Luckily.
And then the kidnapped by hoodlums, you have that sign that said look out for hoodlums.
Exactly.
God, her animation is so much fun because she does a little spin.
Yeah.
And then she puts the whole body into it because the rest of her rises up off the ground and her tail stiffens out.
Yep. Like, very cat-like.
Yeah.
Yep. These characters are they have just so much more character.
Yeah.
Like, even though characters who don't really receive any development, which actually I guess there might be 2 or 3, but even them, they still have personality.
Yeah, like, look at a lot of American superheroes. You have a ton of American superheroes that either don't or very rarely develop as characters and change.
Yeah.
But they're still beloved because they either represent some kind of ideal or the general concept is just so much fun that you can play around with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, not everyone needs to grow, though generally it's a good idea if your main character has a progression and an arc.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though Ryu doesn't speak, he still kind of grows as a character just because of the things that happen around him and stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't need to speak to have a strong understanding of a character. Like,
yeah, well, like Chrono. Chrono's a ridiculously good example of a silent protagonist who, like, has total character just because of all the animations they put in.
Yeah, Chrono, Link, Samus, Gordon Freeman.
I'm not sure I would agree that much with Samus. Like, she's stoic, but that's about all there is to her.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can kind of... I'm not saying she's an amazing character, but you can...
No, she's compelling, I'll give you that.
You understand who she is. Hell, 2016's interpretation of the Doom guy is a fucking fantastic silent protagonist.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, that opening bit tells you everything you need to know about this character. And he never says a fucking word.
Yep.
Like, oh, I woke up, I'm naked, I'm chained to a table, and there are zombies. How do I respond to this? Well, simple. I break the chains, I kill the zombies with my bare fucking hands, and then I assess the situation from there.
Yeah.
It's like the sheer fact that not fazed by zombies, okay, you're a fucking badass. Your first response...
Break the chains.
isn't, panicked flailing. No, it's intended strain. You're just flexing out of your bonds.
Yep.
So yeah, and then the little subtle thing that that most people really overlook is after he gets his armor, he goes over to a panel and he's intentionally checking the situation. It's not, oh shit's fucked, better go murder everything. It's no, what's the problem? Where is the problem? How do I fix the problem?
Yeah.
So you get a mind for a character that's like really like goal-oriented, solution-oriented,
and
very practical.
Not afraid to take action, but you have to assess the situation just a little bit first. Yeah,
and then the part everyone loves, Creepy McEvil voice comes on the intercom, and he fucking throws the monitor across the room.
Yep.
It's like, I'm not taking any...
I don't care.
It's not even that I don't care. If you watch the cutscene, he waits
I don't take orders. Yeah.
No, it's not even I don't take orders.
No? Oh, okay.
The phrase that gets him to throw it across the room is, there's a way we can resolve this that will be mutually beneficial. It's like, you're full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, fuck that. The second you said that, no, you're not helping.
Done with you.
And then he gets to the part, like, at the end of that little sequence, he comes on the radio again, and he's like, all right, I will admit, mistakes have been made. I take responsibility for everything that's happened here. And and Doom Guy stops. And he's like, okay, maybe you're not completely full of shit. But understand, everything I did for the betterment of humanity. All right, never mind, you're full of shit. Breaks the monitor. So
that's pretty glorious.
Without a single line of dialogue, you get a character that's just flowing with personality, and you really understand what this guy's all about.
Yep, this is true.
That and the fact that he will rip an imp's skull in half with his bare hands also gives you a really good idea. Granted, he's a cartoon character, so everything's super exaggerated.
Yeah, but he's compelling. And cartoon characters are compelling. They work on emotion.
Yeah.
Like, I think we may have talked about that before. Just the fact that cartoons have their own logic, and it's basically the logic of childish emotion.
Yeah. There's that, and, like, there is a place for wish fulfillment characters, and this is probably This is the big draw of DC, and DC annoys me the most when they don't accept this fact. The DC characters are all wish fulfillment characters. They're all gods pretending to be human.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, the Marvel characters have a bit more of a struggle. A lot of times, their powers are also the source of their misery or the source of their weakness.
Yeah.
But the DC characters are all, like, fucking god-tier Supermen.
Yeah, and that includes Batman.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to admit that, but Batman is basically God.
Batman is fucking Bat-God. It's
the fact that people even talk about who would win in a fight, Batman is with infinite preparation or Superman, and then Batman comes out on top. It's like, you know, if your mortal can take on fucking Superman, that's it. You're done.
Well, the thing about what's attributed to Batman, it's like, okay, he essentially has infinite resources with his wealth. He's a super genius. He's a Sherlock Holmes level detective. He's mastered more martial arts than I can fucking count.
Yep.
He's also an expert marksman with thrown weapons.
Yeah, he's a Gary Stu.
A championship driver, a pilot, a master boatsman, or whatever the fuck, like, somebody who, steers a boat is called. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But, like, pile up a chemist, mechanic, engineer. Like, the shit he can do, it's like, these are all... Every single thing he does is marginally better than an actual human can do, and he can do all of it.
Yes, and he can do it all at the top of his game. Like, at the top of any game.
Yeah, so it's like... No, his superpower is he's human, man. He can do anything a human can.
Yeah. And humans have a lot of fucking potential, so if you put them all into one, you get Batman.
Yeah. That's Batman. He's Man-Man. He's the ultimate human man.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, even in the DC animated universe, where he's relatively toned down, he still's, like, the only human that can dodge Darkseid's eye lasers.
Right.
And it's like, even Darkseid's like, the fuck is up with you?
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but DC comic book characters are wish fulfillment characters. It's like, anytime you have a universe where a character can literally outrun death because they are that fast, it's like, no, it's wish fulfillment. That's the point. And there's a place for wish fulfillment as long as
it's fine. I don't shit on DC fans for liking it. It's just, it's like, wish fulfillment.
And understand what it is and write with that understanding. It's when you're taking these characters and not understanding that. That you get these, like, fucked up weirdo stories that don't make sense and just fucking useless trash.
Yeah.